There's no doubt as investors that we love properties that cash flow strongly. In fact, we need properties to cash flow at least to meet our affordability, to enable us to sustain the portfolio, to then reap those rewards at the end of the day through the capital gains that we make. Number one reason why people or property investors sell their properties early, investment properties early, is because of poor cash flow. So we've also, most of us, you might have watched my videos on the NDIS investment opportunity. Today I'm going to run through an alternative, SIL Housing, and the benefits that investment opportunity actually provide to investors. Thanks for joining me. My name is Tim from Think Property Business. So today I'm going to run through the advantages to us as investors of the SIL Housing, so supported independent living housing. The SIL properties falls outside the NDIS as far as it's not linked to the NDIS around payments. But some of the benefits to us as investors, firstly, is the building cost. So the building cost is far less for a SIL property than it is for an NDIS property. And the main reason is that the inclusions that are required for a SIL property are far less than they are for an NDIS property. To give you an example, we're looking at running numbers around about $30,000 to $50,000 more than a traditional property for the build of a SIL property, which is a little bit higher than a traditional property, but far less than they are for an NDIS build. And the reason around that is that, again, the inclusions that are required for a SIL property are far less. So what we're looking at from a floor plan point of view, or a floor design, if you like, or a house design, that we're going to be looking at 4 bedrooms, so 4 tenants, plus a carer's room, 2 bathrooms, and 2 living areas. So we don't need high ceilings, and again, there's a lot of other inclusions that aren't required. So from a package price point of view, we're looking around the $600,000 mark. Right now in the current market, an NDIS property, 3 participant plus carer property, the package price is going to be around about $750,000. So comparably speaking, the overall package price or buy-in price is far less. From a return point of view, we are looking at around about $200 to $250 per tenant per week. So if we look in the lower figure, the lower amount of $200, then for tenants, we're going to look at $800 a week in rent, which equates to around about an 8% yield. And a few things to take into consideration, but just to give you an idea, probably around $350 to $400 surplus a week, or net positive cash flow to the investor. So again, not as high as they are for NDIS properties, but certainly a lot higher than they are for traditional properties, especially in this current environment. So I think we're looking around 2.5% to 3%. So even at 5% in a steady market, again, the SIL properties are going to deliver a higher yield and a higher cash flow position for investors. The other thing is that the lease terms are going to be around about something like 3 plus 3, so 3 years plus 3 years, or 5 years plus 5 years for the tenants signing on. So longer than they would be or can be for traditional property as well. So a little bit of security around the income that's coming through for us as investors. So there's quite a few things that play in our favour. When you compare it to NDIS properties, and if you're not sure about NDIS properties, please feel free to watch some of my videos. I'll go through all the details of NDIS and how it works and the returns that can be expected by investors. So if your budget doesn't allow you to purchase an NDIS property, certainly a SIL property would be worth considering. Again, the floor plans are smaller, don't have to be built as large as an NDIS property. Similar to a traditional property or a mum and dad property, if I can say it that way, owner-occupied property. There will be, so what we're going to do is when we design them, we'll be designing them for the base level for NDIS properties, which means that as the participant or the tenants occupy the property, if their disability increases or deteriorates, which moves them to a higher level, then they can be eligible for NDIS payments, which means to us as investors that say $200 a week will increase greatly from there. So we are building them, designing them so they've got wheelchair access, etc., but it doesn't have to be to the level or the extent it is for NDIS properties. So there's a lot of advantages around what that looks like to us as investors. Again, I've gone through the cost, and that's the main one, is that the purchase cost, the build cost, the package price is far, far less than it is for an NDIS property, and not a whole lot more than it would be for a traditional purchase as well. So very, very favourable from the lending point of view, as well as our budgeting. And then the returns, whilst they are a little bit less, they are still very, very strong compared to traditional property. So there's quite a fair bit to at least consider, and certainly if you're looking for that balance between cash flow and capital growth, then SIL Housing would be definitely something to cast your eye over and have a think about, do some feasibility and assessment. I will leave there's my email address, if you like, in the description box. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you have. We're working through this now to make sure that when we do present these opportunities to our investors, our clients, that they tick all the boxes and everything's been covered off. All the pricing will be full turnkey. We've got participants ready to go, or tenants ready to go. We've got a large SDA that requires this type of build. So we're going to build to the demand. We're not just building and hoping they will come. We're building to what the demand is. They'll be across different parts of the country as well. And so there's a lot of options, a lot of variety, opportunity for us as investors as well. So look, I really appreciate you sparing the time to watch this video. Think about it as an option. Again, reach out if you've got any questions. And what I really like for you to do is feel comfortable in reaching out. And I'm not going to try and sell you anything. It's about gaining information. You need to be happy and at least confident in what you're looking at as far as an investment opportunity. So thank you for sparing the time to watch the video. Look forward to catching up in the next one. Take care.